Aquila, a young and talented dressmaker, known for her exceptional skills and creativity. Raised by her grandmother, Mama Eka, after the untimely death of her parents, Aquila's journey began in a small village where she learned the craft from a local tailor, Mr. Nakem. Every stitch she made was a tribute to her humble beginnings and her dreams of a brighter future. Her grandmother often watched her with pride, believing that one day the world would know Aquila's name. Aquila's shop was a small, cozy space filled with rolls of fabric, sewing machines, and mannequins adorned with her latest creations. Her dedication to her craft was evident in every piece she created, and her reputation for quality and creativity quickly spread throughout Douala. One sunny afternoon, as Aquila was putting the finishing touches on a client's dress, her phone rang. She wiped her hands on her apron and answered, her heart skipping a beat when she heard the voice on the other end. "Good afternoon. Am I speaking to Aquila Nakem?" The caller asked. "Yes, this is Aquila. How may I help you?" She replied, trying to keep her voice steady. "This is Mrs. Abina Nagongang, the First Lady of Cameroon. I recently saw a dress you made for a mutual acquaintance, and I was very impressed. I would like you to design a dress for me for the upcoming National Day celebration." Aquila's heart raced. The First Lady of Cameroon wanted her to design a dress? It felt like a dream. She quickly agreed, and they arranged a meeting at the presidential palace to discuss the details. As she hung up the phone, Aquila's hands trembled with excitement. This was the opportunity of a lifetime. She immediately began brainstorming ideas, envisioning a gown that would capture the essence of Cameroon's rich culture and elegance. Word of Aquila's good fortune spread quickly. Among those who heard the news was Madame Chantal, a well-known fashion designer in Douala, who had mentored Aquila in her early days. Madame Chantal had always dreamed of designing for the First Lady, but despite her efforts, she had never been given the chance. When she heard that Aquila had been chosen, a pang of envy pierced her heart. How could this happen? Madame Chantal fumed to her friend Titi, who often visited her shop. "I've worked so hard, and yet this young girl gets the opportunity I've always wanted." Titi, known for her cunning ways, leaned in and whispered, "Why don't you do something about it? If you let this chance slip away, you'll regret it forever. You deserve to be in the spotlight, not her." Madame Chantal's envy turned into a burning desire to sabotage Aquila's success. She began to plot, her mind racing with ideas. She knew she had to act quickly and decisively. Meanwhile, Aquila, oblivious to Madame Chantal's jealousy, threw herself into her work. She spent days sketching designs, selecting fabrics, and meticulously crafting the dress for the First Lady. Every detail had to be perfect. She envisioned a gown that would capture the essence of Cameroon's rich culture and elegance. Her grandmother watched her with a mixture of pride and concern. "Aquila, my dear, you are working so hard. Remember to take care of yourself," Mama Eka advised. "I will, Mama," Aquila replied, her eyes shining with determination. "This dress is my chance to show the world what I can do." As the days passed, the dress began to take shape. It was a stunning creation, adorned with intricate beadwork and vibrant colors. Aquila knew that this dress would be her masterpiece. Meanwhile, Madame Chantal and Titi were busy executing their plan. They had a mask made to resemble Aquila's face, a perfect replica that would fool anyone at a glance. They planned to intercept Aquila on the day she was to deliver the dress and impersonate her at the National Day celebration. The day before the event, Titi and Madame Chantal followed Aquila as she made her way to the presidential palace for a final fitting. They watched her every move, waiting for the right moment to strike. On the morning of the National Day celebration, Aquila woke up early, her heart pounding with excitement and nerves. She carefully packed the dress in a protective garment bag and called a taxi to take her to the presidential palace. As the taxi made its way through the busy streets of Yaoundé, Aquila couldn't help but smile, thinking about how far she had come. Suddenly, the taxi came to a halt in a quiet, deserted area. Before Aquila could react, two men appeared out of nowhere, opened the door, and pulled her out. She struggled, but they were too strong. One of the men covered her mouth with a cloth, and everything went black. Aquila woke up in an abandoned building, her head throbbing with pain. She looked around, disoriented and confused. The dress was gone, and she had no memory of what had happened after she left her shop. Panic set in as she realized the gravity of the situation. Meanwhile, at the National Day celebration, the First Lady was mingling with guests when she noticed someone who looked like Aquila wearing the dress. The imposter, Madame Chantal, smiled and greeted the First Lady, trying to pass off the dress as her own creation. "Isn't this dress beautiful?" Madame Chantal said, her voice trembling slightly. "I made it just for you, Mrs. Nagongang." The First Lady's eyes narrowed. Something didn't feel right. She had met Aquila before, and this woman seemed different. As she studied the imposter more closely, the mask began to slip, revealing Madame Chantal's true identity. "Security," the First Lady called out. "This woman is an imposter." Security quickly intervened, and Madame Chantal was escorted out of the event. The First Lady, furious at the deception, ordered an investigation. Surveillance footage from the presidential palace and nearby areas revealed the entire plot. The cameras had captured the ambush, the men dragging Aquila from the taxi, and Madame Chantal changing into the dress. The next morning, Aquila returned home to find police officers waiting for her. They were there to arrest her for breach of contract. Aquila pleaded her innocence, explaining that she had been attacked and had no memory of the previous night. Just as the police were about to take her away, the First Lady's secretary arrived with news that cleared Aquila's name. The surveillance footage had revealed the true culprit, and Madame Chantal had confessed to the crime. The First Lady, impressed by Aquila's resilience and integrity, invited her to the palace. She apologized for the misunderstanding and praised Aquila's talent. Aquila was given another chance to design for the First Lady, and this time she delivered a dress that exceeded all expectations. Madame Chantal, disgraced and abandoned by her clients, left Douala to start over in a distant town. Her reputation was in ruins, and she knew she had only herself to blame. She regretted her actions deeply, but understood that she had to live with the consequences. Aquila, on the other hand, flourished. She opened her own fashion house and became one of Cameroon's most sought-after designers, creating stunning dresses for important personalities and government officials. Her grandmother's words had come true. The world now knew Aquila's name. Aquila's success brought her joy and fulfillment, but she never forgot the lessons she had learned along the way. She continued to work hard, always striving to improve her craft. She also made it a point to mentor young, aspiring designers, just as Mr. Nakem had mentored her. One day, as she was working on a new collection, Aquila received a visit from the First Lady. Mrs. Nagongang had come to personally thank her for the beautiful dresses she had created and to offer her a new opportunity. "Aquila," the First Lady said, "your talent and integrity have impressed me greatly. I would like you to be the official designer for all state events. Your work represents the best of Cameroon, and I want the world to see it." Aquila's eyes filled with tears of gratitude. "Thank you, Mrs. Nagongang. It would be an honor." Aquila's journey was a testament to the power of integrity, hard work, and resilience. Despite the obstacles and challenges she faced, she never gave up on her dreams. Her story also highlighted the destructive nature of envy and jealousy. Madame Chantal's actions had led to her downfall, while Aquila's patience and honesty had paved the way to success. As Aquila stood on the balcony of her new fashion house, overlooking the bustling streets of Douala, she felt a deep sense of fulfillment. She had achieved her dreams, but more importantly, she had stayed true to herself. She knew that her journey was far from over, and she was excited for the future. Aquila's tale became an inspiration to many, a reminder that true talent and character will always shine through, no matter the obstacles. Her story was a beacon of hope, encouraging others to pursue their dreams with integrity.